No more writing our representatives, no more marching in the streets. We stop them where it counts in their fucking bank accounts. Fuck them all.
We need more women's rights built into our America!
That so-called fetus is not alive.
Which is a stage in human development.
It is not alive.
They're not able to have sex.
They are unable to not have sex.
That was the best part of this whole interview. That's so funny. How'd you navigate that?
I don't know. I'm answering these questions. I'm coming with my opinions as you ask them. I don't know. Jesus loved abortions. Jesus loved porn. Jesus loved virgins. Jesus loved everybody.
And we need to keep abortion safe in America because my choice of a child is my dog. I don't need a baby for a family. This is my family.
Do you not want to talk to me because I'm pro-life?
Yeah.
That's it?
This is a pro-life interview, by the way. Are you guys pro-life? I'm gonna go. I'm so sorry. This is a waste of my time.
Have a good one.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Anna.
And we're here in Washington, D.C. to ask people why they're at the Bands Off Our Bodies rally today.
We shouldn't fucking be out here. We're fucking women. We have order. Like, if I need an abortion and these bitches aren't the reason I can get one, then we have to fucking say something. It's all white Republican men that are trying to make the laws for our bodies, and it's so stupid because we should be the ones to say what our bodies can do and cannot do. But didn't a male-dominated court decide Roe v. Wade? Yes. So how do you feel about that? Horrible. That's bullshit because we're women. They're not the ones with the uteruses. They're not the ones with the vaginas. They're not the ones that have to go through the shit that we have to. But they decided Roe v. Wade. That's what I'm saying. A male-dominated court decided Roe v. Wade. But now they're trying to take it away. But it's a more diverse court now. So how do you guys feel about that? Going back to the disability argument. So if somebody does conceive and they have disabilities, you would think they are more likely, or you would encourage them to have an abortion?
Well, they should have the option if genetic testing of the embryos suggests that it's going to be positive, it's going to have fatal abnormalities or be incredible, basically if it's not going to be viable outside the womb, abortion should be an option that's available to families.
Do you think that could be a form of discrimination, though? Because there are types of abortions where people can go into an abortion facility and say, it's a girl, I want it to be a boy, I want an abortion. And then same thing with if they find out if their child has a disability, they could go in and say, I don't want a child with a disability.
I advocated very hard for people not to come to Washington, D.C. and get fucking ignored by our government. I'm sorry if this is like,
No, yeah,
you know what? We need to organize in a way that happens in our own communities. General strike, all women stop going to work. We organize in our own streets. We stop commerce until they fucking listen to us. No more writing our representatives, no more marching in the streets. We stop them where it counts in their fucking bank accounts. Fuck them all.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so
Have a good one.
about all of this. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to like harsh your vibe.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Get them out my phone.
Don't throw it back. You can't even find the class.
Life begins at birth, you said? I guess so. I guess that's my opinion, yeah. Would you say the same thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So you think if I were to be pregnant right now and it's my due date, would you say that my child isn't alive yet, but then once it's born, that's when it becomes alive? I don't know, I guess not. Maybe I'm changing my mind. So that's a tricky question because I think about siblings and everything, and I know newborns aren't sustainable, but are newborns not worthy of life? Are they not worthy to be protected at that point? Well, that comes back to the child abuse question. They're able to sustain life if they're supported by adults. Mm-hmm. Which would be the same with NICU though, right? Yes, same. How'd you navigate that? I don't know. I'm answering these questions. I'm coming with my opinions as you ask them. I don't know.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Well, a fetus or a clump of cells has to rely on the mother to live. The fetus can't live without the mother.
Infants are dependent on people, though. Individuals who have some type of disability might have to depend on someone throughout their whole life. So the argument of dependency, I feel could be applied to multiple groups of people, not just someone in the womb.
It is expensive to have children. Holy moly, it's expensive. Who's going to help with all of that? And when the kid goes to school, who's going to pay for those lunches? Who's going to ensure that child is out of poverty and has all the things that they need.
Well, I know an organization called Standing With You that actually does all of that and supports women in need when they're going through a pregnancy, but also after they deliver a child. So there's a lot of resources out there, but wantedness should never determine someone's worth or humanity. So my point being is,
Have you ever been pregnant?
my ability, I have never been pregnant, but I know other people who have been pregnant. What is your point with that, though, with the issue of abortion?
It's really important that when people have a say.
Have you ever owned a slave?
No, but
Can you be against slavery?
every clock
Have you ever owned a slave? You said no. Can you be against slavery without owning a slave?
that our ancestors, because you're white and I'm white, probably did, which is wrong.
But that is the argument that you're utilizing, is that because I've never experienced a pregnancy, I can't be against an injustice. I've never owned a slave, but I can still be against slavery. I've never participated in sex trafficking, but I can be against sex trafficking. So that's a logical fallacy.
We
need more women's rights built into our America, and that's what we're walking for today. That's what we're fighting for today.
Every
Fucking
day.
emancipate.
Fuck it, the patriarchy is all we got to say. Just fuck it, the patriarchy.
So why do you think abortion is so controversial? What is abortion?
Well, it's killing a baby, basically, so while it's in the womb. So it's controversial because people believe that you're taking away a human life, but you don't have a life until you are out of the womb. You don't have a voice. And I would say that it's the woman's voice at that point. It's the mother's choice.
So you said abortion is killing a baby, but you also mentioned that the baby is not alive in a mother's womb. So how can you kill something that's not alive?
You put me in a little tough position.
So you said unborn babies. Do you believe babies exist within the womb?
I think that babies do exist at some point within the womb, but I think that abortion is healthcare regardless.
Would you be against abortion at that point where you realize that babies exist in the womb and they're alive?
Yes.
And you don't know what point that would be?
I believe that a woman has a right to abort the baby at any point.
So you believe in abortion up to birth?
Yes.
So when does human life begin?
That's not for me to decide. I think if you're going by the Bible says that life begins at first breath, so I think that argument is bullshit, but...
So they're only human and their rights only should be protected when they're born?
Yeah.
Okay. So when does human rights begin? That's my question.
When I believe human rights starts when you're first born.
Okay, so when does human life begin?
When that baby exits.
So you would support abortion up to birth?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hope you don't have an ectopic pregnancy. Got it.
But either way, the only hope of protecting our abortion rights, I think, in the near future is by codifying it in Congress.
So when do you think a human is a human?
When it pops out.
So you don't think at any stage before the child is born that they are human?
I mean, maybe at some point, but also I think that even when they are a human, if a mother is deciding on their own life at stake, whether it be their future or whether it be their physical health, that's a choice for her to make.
So even if we were able to prove scientifically that life started at a certain point in pregnancy, would you be against abortion?
No, and they've proved that that's not necessary. Like, that is a completely subjective matter. That'll never be proven scientifically.
So the majority of biologists actually universally agree
Is this
that...
a pro-life interview, by the way? Are you guys pro-life groups? I'm gonna go. I'm so sorry. This is a waste of my time.
Have a good one.
Well, today was very interesting, to say the least. It was not a surprise at all that we saw a lot of rage from the pro-choicers. We saw them yelling at our people. I got spat on a few times. My friends were shoved and pushed around. We even had racial slurs getting yelled at some of our students. No surprise at all to see this anger from the pro-choicers. No surprise at all that a lot of pro-choicers do not know what they're talking about. As we ask people questions, as we ask them to explain why they're there, or we just ask them basic, simple science questions, they're stumped and they don't have answers for that. It was so clear today that science is on the side of life and that we are the ones that are actually doing our research.